Hey everyone, what's going on? I hope you guys are doing really, really well, and I hope you've been well. I know it's tough out there, and it just seems like there's a lot going on all over the world. And so, whatever you guys are going through, just hang in there. So, I wanted to talk to you today about the November energies. We also had a full moon a couple days ago, and we are about to have a new moon in 11 days from now or so. But those energies have been coming through. They've been arriving. So a lot of us have been feeling the effects of these lunar cycles quite strongly. And it really is a time to do some significant detoxing in many areas of our lives. Whether that means detoxing from social media, from being online too much, from looking out after your twins 24/7 on the internet, and also detoxing from toxic people and things that are keeping your energy stagnant and are not allowing you to move forward and accelerate. A lot of this detox is happening on its own naturally, so you may be feeling the effects of it, which can get quite intense. We've actually been going through a detox for the last few months since summertime. But also too, this full moon that just passed a couple days ago was very emotional, and I felt it within myself. I felt it within you guys on a collective scale in the soul group. It was just very emotional. There seems to be a lot of processing in relation to family history, a lot of ancestral energies that are coming up, even in dream time. But just a lot of family history that has been coming up, a lot of family dysfunction that we've also been processing and collapsing timelines on. So if you are going through feeling, if you have been feeling left out or not taken care of enough, if you've been feeling like the victim or feeling sorry for yourself, or if you've been feeling remorse, or if you've been feeling like you wish you could go back and fix some things, even guilt, a lot of these things are coming up because they have to go. It's not really the way you feel. You're actually saying goodbye to feeling this way about yourself. So the negative perception of ourselves is what is actually being healed and collapsed at the moment, because before you actually continue to integrate and upgrade who you are, the negative perception of yourself has to go, because you need to have that capacity to integrate your true self. And when that happens, we start to process a lot of history, relationships we've had with people, the way we've actually treated ourselves, the way we feel about ourselves. And that seems to be another major theme right now with these energies. This is what is coming up to the surface to be cleared right now. And I've noticed this repeatedly over the last couple weeks or so, up to this point. There's a lot of healing on the self. So hang in there, you guys. If you are feeling a bit down or a bit bummed out right now, it's part of what we are processing right now. So we are going through a bit of stuff at the moment, but it's not as intense as it has been the last couple months. Actually, since summer and August and September, those months were very intense and quite heavy. And that was due to the revisitation of the past. So a lot of things did come up to be processed. And this seems to be the theme of this half of the year, is revisiting the past and in our history. So you may be processing things when you were a child, or your early adulthood, your teens, your early 20s, early 30s, early 40s. Anything that you've been through earlier in life, a lot of these things are coming up to the surface. So So that's what's been taking place. So there was a lot of transmutation that has took place, as well as the clearing and releasing of old paradigm energies or matrix energies. So there's been a lot of movement in the energy. Our twins have been processing quite a bit of that themselves. Actually, a lot of people experienced what we know as the tower energy right after the solar eclipse, and that needed to happen in order to get us to face and address certain aspects of ourselves and our lives that needed maintenance. And so this is going to continue. The clearing will continue. I mean, the clearing does not stop by any means, but it does get lighter, and it's not going to be as intense as it has been, which thank goodness gracious for that, because it really was quite intense, you know? And now I'm even wondering how the eclipse for 2024 is going to be like. And honestly, if it's going to be this intense, I'm not really looking forward to it. Although I am, because the result is always very rewarding. So it has been feeling like a bit of a shakeup, and it hasn't only been intense due to the energies that we've been clearing, but it's also been intense due to the high level cosmic energy that we've been integrating into our vessels. I myself, in my personal experience, I did integrate quite a bit of energy, and it actually sent my entire physical system all over the place. I was affected in many ways. I mean, my sleeping patterns, my eating habits, I felt disoriented. I felt a bit disconnected. It was just a shakeup. And so I know a lot of you felt this as well. Your twins felt it. I mean, how could you not, right? It was pretty intense. But anyway, something else too that is going on right now is that so many of us, and I've actually noticed this after speaking with clients and friends and family who are ascending, that so many of us are actually collapsing multiple timelines at once and working on multiple things at once. So before, where we used to maybe collapse a couple things and maybe work on one thing at a time, it just seems like we are actually at a point where we are collapsing multiple things, multiple timelines, and working on multiple things at one time. So it may feel like there is always something going on behind the scenes on your own personal journey, or you may feel like you're going through a lot energetically. And it feels like we just cannot catch a break sometimes. You know, we may have stuff going on with work, maybe not being able to find a job, or maybe you have stuff going on with family, with friends, projects, colleagues, a lot of things. And it seems like something is always going on here and there and here and there, and one thing after another. And it just feels like we cannot catch a break. Also, too, it may have to do with your ascension physical symptoms, where you're going through one thing and then it finishes, and then you start something else, and then something else happens, and something else, and something else. You may be going through feeling the headaches, and then headaches go away, but then you start feeling the vertigo goes away, but then you start feeling back pain, and you start getting cramps, and your legs hurt, like all this stuff happening all at once. And that is actually the result of collapsing multiple timelines at once and working on multiple things at once. It is the result of acceleration. But hang in there, because this is a phase, and we've actually chosen as a collective to accelerate, and this is the time to do it. So hang in there, you guys. Something else too that has been coming through with a sense of urgency is the importance to change our perception of our journey. Because a lot of times, you know, we actually make it out to seem worse than it really is. And I mean, if we spend a lot of time in the mental body, the mind is going to do what it knows how to do best, and that is to overthink and over exaggerate the circumstance, over exaggerate the situation. And the journey itself is very challenging. Don't get me wrong, because it is. Going through ascension can also get quite annoying sometimes, and a lot of these things are coming up, so it is challenging. And then especially if you are a twin flame, you are connected to some other person, and it's not easy, especially when you first awaken. For all of you who are newly awakened, and going through the first separation stages of your twin union, or when you start to experience your twin withdrawing from you, it is very painful. I'm not going to lie. It is the worst pain that you can feel at this level, because it's on a soul level. And see what happens between twins, whether you have a romantic connection or not, but what takes place with twins upon meeting is that we activate one another. And so our hearts expand, our heart centers, our heart chakras expand. And so as the awakened ones, we are left with that recognition and that knowing that we are connected to this person. We know it very clearly, and we see it, we feel it, we know it, but our twins don't get it quite yet. They can't feel it. So as the awakened ones, it does get very painful. And it honestly feels at the beginning like when your twin withdraws from you, like you are literally missing a part of you. It feels like you are literally missing a piece of yourself. It's almost like you're away from home and you've lost your way back. So this is how it feels. So it is very challenging. But as the energies do balance themselves out, it does get better. It really, really does. So, but it is very challenging. However, if we change the perception of the journey itself and go about it with a higher sense of enthusiasm and ambition to continue to work on ourselves and do the inner work, it will dramatically change the way we feel about ourselves and about our twins and the journey. That's really, really important. And one thing that I cannot stress enough is letting go of fear. Fear is the heaviest and densest energy that there is out there. It is the heaviest, most dense energy that there is out there. And the reason why that is because fear is the lack of trust. Fear is the distrust in God, in the universe. It's the distrust in the divine, in our higher selves, in our twins' higher selves. And when we feel that distrust, we begin to align ourselves with disharmony, and then we begin to tap into darkness, and we don't want to be there. So it's important to shift out of that and into faith and trust and align ourselves with harmony, because harmony is light. And light is love. And love is all there is. Love is all you need. So this is why it is so important to align ourselves with trust. This is why when it comes to all that is, when it comes to universal law and sacred geometry, these things are so significant, because there is a sense of surrender, which brings trust. There is divine order to these things. There is structure. And so, things just flow with ease. There is a harmonious rhythmic to everything. That there is complete trust. And so, this is what we need to do. We need to allow things in our lives, the energy within ourselves, to just flow with ease and allow things to just be without resistance. So being in fear is not going to get us there. And also, too, the reason fear is one of the lowest, if anything, the lowest and densest energy, is because fear is the creator of other low energies as well. it is a creator to disharmony, stress, sadness, depression, resistance, rejection, codependency, loneliness. All of these things derive from the fear itself. And fear is a very natural thing too. So as long as we are in these human vessels, we will always experience fear at some level. But there's a difference between experiencing that responsive fear due to fight or flight versus experiencing the fear that we constantly, continuously dwell in over and over and over again. That's when it becomes vicious. That's where you don't want to reside. You don't want to be in this continuous sense of fear over and over and over again. Because what happens after that is that so much fear can actually trigger repetitive negative thoughts. And if you do begin to get into that rhythm of repetitive negative thoughts, believe it or not, what will happen is that your own negative thinking, your own negative thoughts will gain momentum. And if it continues, it will actually take form and create an entity of its own. And if it continues, if you continue to feed it, this entity can turn intelligent. And if it continues, this negative intelligent entity can then take control of your mental body. It hacks your mental body, and that's what we don't want to get to, because at that point, it's not you anymore. It's no longer you thinking these things. It is everything that has come about your creation of your negative thinking. And so the only way to actually avoid that or counter it is by thinking positively, and not just thinking positively, but actually feeling positively. So one of the highest vibrating energies in the universe is the energy of gratitude, because you are coming from a space of being thankful and from a space of grace. So next time you do catch yourself being negative and it's been past 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, and you are still being negative, then counter that by feeling gratitude and just feeling the gratitude in your entire being. I mean, what is it that you are actually grateful for? God, your children, the universe, your passions, your abilities, your health. I mean, and really feel that. And you will see how quickly you can transmute that negativity. And that is your most powerful tool, is actually feeling the love and the gratitude. That's how you can uncreate all negativity. That is your most powerful tool. So whenever you hear people say love conquers all things, that is no joke. That is true. That's the real deal. That is your most powerful tool. So continue to do that. And look, you guys, I mean, we are not perfect thinkers, okay? We are not all perfect feelers. So, I mean, especially us as twin flames and people going through ascension, we are actually here for the process of self-mastery, as well as transmutation and healing. So, a lot of us, all of us actually, are going through self-mastery, and we're going to have to face the darkness at some point. And I've said this before, we don't run away from darkness, we face it to get to the light. So we are going to have to go through feeling fear. We are going to have to go through the purging and all of these things that do come up, because we are collapsing timelines, we are processing things. And so we are going to feel negative emotions and negative feelings. But the key is to not dwell in them repeatedly. So let's say that you are having a night of purging. Don't wake up the next day continuing to purge Don't milk it for an entire week. And although there are some timelines that do take a couple weeks and sometimes even months to collapse, you will have a chance to be able to disconnect from the purge from time to time. So, do not dwell in the fear over and over and over again. That's what is so important about this, is don't dwell in the fear repetitively, continuously. You want to snap out of that. You want to counter it with positivity, the most that you can, of course. So and anytime you do catch yourself, right away, snap out of it. So anyway, you guys, that is what I wanted to talk to you about today. It's really important to really change your perspective about your journey, and it really is not as bad as it seems. For those of you that are newly awakened, if you look back on your path, for those of you that are twin flames, and you may be away from your twin, or you may not even be with your twin or on speaking terms with your twin, but if you look back on your history, you will see how much your twin has actually taught you, how much you have grown, and how much their energy really is with you. And sorry about that, you guys. I needed to take a phone call, but I'm back. So, our twins are always with us. We're always with each other, even if they don't know it, even if they don't really feel you or understand you, our higher selves are always with them, overlighting their life, and they are always with us, overlighting our life. Even when we don't want the energy to be there, it's a constant. It's always there. So, really look back on your own journey and realize this for yourself, that it's really not as bad as we think sometimes, and that it's been very rewarding. And it's very rewarding to be who you are. So just think about that. All right, you guys. Well, this is all I really wanted to talk to you guys about today. I also want to put out another video regarding something that does come up pretty frequently. And I think it's very important to talk about. So I will be putting up that video soon. But other than that, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Or if you'd like a coaching session or a session about your twin flame journey, let me know and we can definitely work something out. Other than that, hang in there. Stay safe, everybody. I love all of you. Until next time, bye, everybody.